main storyline that Jen Flynn Oldenburg of Ohio State had talked about after they played the first match in program history at the Schottenstein Center a couple weeks ago. Alex Acevedo gets things started, and Emmy Selman, the star freshman, who's been unfolding before Ohio State's very eyes, collects the first block and the first point.
And that was going to be the expectation, is when you can get someone to really feel comfortable being herself, playing the game that she knows and loves, whether that's attacking or flipping back to defense like we just saw. She's not afraid to do it all as a freshman.
Against number 3 Penn State 2 Fridays ago, Selman racked up 27 kills. Another freshman staple of the lineup for Ohio State, Olivia Hasbrook, commits the service error, and Minnesota goes to work. What sticks out to you about the way both teams play?
Well, one, when you look at the way Keegan Cook has built his roster, some transfers, some have stayed. Of course, his time at Washington, now he's here in the Big Ten. Well, Washington's now in the Big Ten as well, but just the way they've built these rosters.
Emmy Selman with 2 quick points.
You go with these underclassmen and younger players who maybe had not had the opportunity somewhere else or are highly touted going across the country like Emmy Selman has done. Both coaches in Cook and Flynn Oldenburg build their programs on growth, trust, and experience. And when you can get all three to wrap into a bow, that's when you start winning big games.
Mia Tuman, the setter for Ohio State, serves it. Julia Hansen is denied, but hits it off the block and out. Julia Hansen, 10th in the Big Ten in kills per set, gets her first of the afternoon.
And her 240th kill of the season. Last year, she only had 65 in as many matches as she's played now.
From rotational piece to mainstay star, Melanie Schaffmaster, the redshirt junior setter, can't hug the back line. Schaffmaster, quite the talent. Only gopher in program history with 4,000 career assists, 1,000 digs, 300 kills, and 300 blocks.
I mean, you can see the way she plays. Just this year, she's 8 matches of 40-plus assists.
One of 29 college players with a triple-double. Off the Selman serve, Phoebe Awalea sneaks it in.
Not necessarily known for kill power. I know there's a number that you and I keep looking at when you look at Phoebe Awalea. It's her block percentage, and she's number 2 in the Big Ten with 105 of them.
1.57%, and Riley Rader on the other end completes the side out. Riley Rader, Austin, is one of the more underrated pieces of this lineup, and she's a 2-time All-American.
And that says something, whether it's that Jen Flynn Oldenburg has hidden her in a beautiful way in their rotation, or that the rest of the country has it unnoticed.
Lydia Grote missed the match against Northwestern with an undisclosed injury. She's back on the hardwood and back on the score sheet.
Played last time on the 20th at Penn State, of course, in that 3-0 loss. She played in 2 of the sets, had 5 kills and 4 digs, and 4 blocks to go along with it.
Her sister Marin played for Keegan Cook at Washington. Lydia Grote, formerly of Cal. Emily Lundot is denied by Calissa Minity.
Top 3 in the team and blocks herself. 66, now 67 after that one.
A crisp 1%. Zeynep Palabiak serve, met by Ohio State. Reese Webker comes up empty down the line. Reese Webker described as Jen Flynn Oldenburg as a gamer. Took some big swings in the 3-0 loss at Purdue.
But when you can get called that by your coach, by the media, by even your teammates, that's going to hold some weight, and you really have to feel confident with your game.
Out of system ball for Selman, and it hits the deck. Emmy Selman with 2 kills and a block to her name.
And it's only a matter of time before she gets back into it on the defensive side of things. She had a career-high 11 digs in the game at Purdue, but you're going to see her here just gets off the top of the fingers from Awalea and bounces all the way outside near the bench.
Selman, a player that her head coach said has high expectations for herself. Schaffmaster with the dump play, deceivingly gets it onto the floor. Melanie Schaffmaster makes it 7-5.
And that's a beautiful play. As you could see, the entirety of the defense starts pushing back, expecting there to be a deep hit past the 10-foot, and that's when you use those two hands and no-look dump down.
Lydia Grote goes to serve again, 18 aces and 27 errors. Webker rises and knocks it down.
Already noticing from Webker, she's realizing Grote still getting in, still getting her legs in this match, playing closer to the lines on the outside. As Grote's playing in more, expecting to try to go through the block and not go outside of it.
Webker, the outside hitter and defensive specialist hybrid, serves. And on the slide, Calissa Minity comes through.
That's a vertical you just can't teach. That's all natural, and that's just incredible awareness, knowing the ball is going to be able to get there, and you can levitate along with it.
Minity 14th in the Big Ten with a .324 hitting percentage. Off the Acevedo serve. Tuman passes to Selman. Acevedo with a diving dig. Hansen bumps it over. Tuman back to Brandaway. Hammers it off the block. And Ohio State's within one.
And that was the two tall bodies in Hansen and Minity, both 6'1" respectively. And when you try to go through the block like Brandaway did, there's a 50-50 down to. You watch film, you practice, and you go, we want to attack high. Don't try to attack low. Don't go to the floor. If you can hit it off the defense and it hits back off you, hey, that's just a lucky bounce. But if you keep hammering that point forward, it is bound to break through and help your side.
Buckeyes hitting 198 as a team, but today 300. Minnesota at 571. Olivia Hasbrook, 11th among college freshmen in digs, picks up an ace, and we're knotted up at 8.
Beautiful way to start it, too. She found the point in the defense that was the softest, forces everybody outside the 10 to dive for it, and just caroms into the stands.
That's what the program calls a sizzle. 113th ace this year for the Buckeyes. Hansen, wide. And the Buckeyes are in front.
One of the things you have to watch out for in the power hitters in Hansen and even for the Buckeyes in Londot is because they have so much energy and force behind their hit. If you get too much palm on it, it's completely awry and way outside of the play space.
Hansen, the team's leader in kills, comes up empty. Hasbrook goes to the back row. Schaffmaster saves. Tuman to Rader, and the tip is true. A 4-0 run for OSU.
You can see the bloom of the defense on that one there, partner. You'll get a replay here. You find everyone dives for it like flower petals opening up, and you hit right in the center of it.
Riley Rader in bloom. 2 kills on 2 swings. Schaffmaster to Hansen. Selman dives to stop. Here's Londot looking for her first kill. A joust at the net, and Julia Hansen wins the battle.
Stops the 4-0 scoring run that Ohio State was on up to that point. She also read the defense extremely well on that one there, Tyler. They were all pushed up at the front, expecting another joust, and she lets her hand go up, meets it at the apex instead of dropping the ball down a bit more and finding the back corner.
Elise McGee, the redshirt senior setter, formerly from Kansas. Got the serve away. High ball for Hansen. Mia Tuman dishes to Selman and buries it.
There's a reason she's the former #1 volleyball player in the state of Virginia and the #2 outside hitter in the United States. That power and that pure athleticism that you see, not afraid to go at the block and even in between it.
Ohio State's Emmy Selman, Minnesota's Julia Hansen, both outsides. One thing they have in common, formerly trained gymnasts. And Hansen, the Savage Minnesota product, pins one off of the right side of the Ohio State block to pull the Gophers within 1. What do you think that says when you have that gymnastics background?
Well, it's a point that you look at both of them and how they play, and it goes, okay, they're both very nimble. Of course, you have to do that in order to be able to play volleyball and be a top-tier gymnast, which both had been.
And there was Hansen turning one away on Selman, but Emily Lundot with the stuff, and she's got a tip and a kill.
I think it also plays to their strengths, is because they're playing at the pins. You have to not be afraid to jump up very close to even touching the net or going around it. You're somewhat contorting your body just to get a shot that you want to the other side of the court, and that's where being a gymnast can help along with it.
It certainly has been playing factors so far in this match. Hansen on the right side, got it off the outside of her hand and missed off the sideline. And Ohio State jumps out to a 3-point advantage.
This is even something we hadn't talked about. Imagine just the stretching routines that help to go along being a gymnast and an athlete in general, even with the service error on that point. It allows you to put so much stress and time on your muscles and on your body, and then when you can have the ability to stretch out and just feel comfortable and relaxed and flexible, it pays dividends in a long season.
And there is Julia Hansen. 14 matches in double figures. Lundot, the star for Ohio State, hammers it down again.
Right off the shoulder of Palabiak. And that's not easy to do. The defensive specialist from Istanbul plays great defense outside. She tried to set it back up for her teammates and hit off that left side of her hand.
2007th kill for Lundot, second in program history behind the legendary Stacey Gordon. Selman passes for Lundot, off of Hansen and into the crowd. That's Lundot's third kill, and a timeout is on the floor. 15-11, Ohio State leads.
Partner, you had talked.
Match that has gone to straight sets all year is such a crucial key.
Partner, I also think the rotational pieces, Minnesota and Coach Cook are not afraid to go to more of their depth. While Jen Flynn-Oldenburg is also not afraid to keep with the same few pieces she used if they're feeling confident.
Brandowy, got it!
Brandowy switching. You saw she played a little bit of the outside, and of course the traditional middle blocker playing in. Big thing I just caught on to, partner, her communication. She saw the ball behind her and she said, just set it, just get it ready for me, I'll be good, I see a hole in the defense.
Vocal presence leading to a 3-0 run. Off the Raiders soft serve. Other end, here is Grote. An attack error on the Burbank, California native, and the Buckeyes are off to their second 4-0 run here in this first set. It's the largest lead so far in this match. It's 17-11.
Elder members of the team, but Jennifer Lodenberg said we don't really talk about the class of players like Olivia Hasbrook or Emmy Selman because they play at such high levels.
4 of 6 Ohio State freshmen have gotten it in this season, and the team's leader in blocks, Eloise Brandowy, sends it back.
She's only a sophomore herself, and she's picked up in such a big defensive presence role, and then Lundot right next to her, helping her along with her game. That's the leadership you talked about with some of the elder players helping some of the freshmen.
Lydia Grote makes her presence known. Drives one in tight along the back line for a kill.
Speaking of that elder presence, the redshirt senior, who, like you said, played at Calgary in her career, Grote is furious, and she is angry when she's out there on the floor. Not at anybody, but it seems that she's angry at the ball because she wants to get it to the ground so much.
On the other end, Lundot is denied. Selman can't save it, and the vaunted Minnesota block racks up its second of the afternoon.
I mean, when you look at their blocks per set, they're at a 2.8 right now, and their total blocks, it's somewhat incredible. It's 200 plus. You're not seeing that too often here, T.
5 of the top 15 blocks in college volleyball are from the Big Ten. And how about Reese Webker over the head of Palabiak, and Ohio State leads 19-13.
And that's where you see at that far side pin, Webker and Selman in tandem, switching up, and both of them are in the same rotation currently. Sometimes one backs up and the other one goes forward, and if you're a defense, you don't really know what to do because you can't play them the same way because they're not the same athlete.
Emily Londot, two-time All-American, four-time All-Big Ten, serves it away. Schaffmaster, quick pass, and it's Kalissa Minity. Pounds it home. Gophers within 5.
And that's that second quick release we've seen from Minity today. One time she was on that slide over to the far side pin. That time she stayed right in the middle at her middle block position and just pushed it over.
7th assist for Schaffmaster. Mia Tuman for Ohio State has 8 helpers. Looking for 9. Off the slide. Brandowie collects it.
Partner, Brandowie's looked extremely comfortable when going on the attack today. Of course, she always looks comfortable defensively and going for digs and blocks, but seeing her slide, stay in the middle, be very communicative, that's a great growth piece if you're Jen Flynn Oldenburg.
Buckeyes have been in control for most of this first set. And the Buckeyes rack up the point as well. An error on the Golden Gophers. And this 7-point lead is as large as any lead in this opening frame.
Sometimes teams like to go to a defensive-heavy package when you're getting closer and closer to 25. Jen Flynn Oldenburg staying strong.
Reese Webker with the ace. Provided the energy in the loss to Purdue. Here she's got Ohio State's second ace. A 3-0 run for the Buckeyes, trying to snap a 4-match losing streak. Tuman dishes, Selman punches. Schaffmaster resets. Minity's denied. Hasbrook can't keep it alive.
You could see the way that Minity went for it. She didn't try to use as much power as she had the past couple of swings. Very smart idea to be able to slow down the defense and get them ready. And she did that and executed it perfectly. Defense just kept hitting it back and forth and back and forth.
Minnesota trying to crawl back within a 7-point lead, but it's now an 8-point lead. Emmy Selman gets it off the block.
We're going to see Brandowie come out, Riley Rader come in. The grad student presence. Best hitting percentage on the team when it comes to over 100-plus swings.
Riley Rader, one of the program leaders in hitting percentage lifetime. Also, just 11 blocks from cracking the top 5. Here's Hansen with the left hand. Londot there to snuff it out. Tuman resets. Londot fires. Kept off the deck by Thibault. We got a rally here. Tuman hits set point Ohio State. The Covelli Center a week removed from its largest attendance in program and venue history. On its feet. Hasbrook meets the net. And Minnesota lives to see another serve.
And if you're Minnesota, you might want to go switch here, and that's exactly what they do. Defensive heavy. They bring in Phoebe Awolea, and Minity's back to serve. So a strong arm to serve, and even stronger defensive presence up at the front. I love this game plan from Coach Cook.
Selman looks for set point. Wooker meets it in the back row. Hansen delivers. Awolea backs it up. And set one belongs to Ohio State. Statement made against the 15th team in the country.
That's how you got to start a match like this, partner. If you want to go fans, some of the graphics that you're playing in the arena, it means so much to everybody involved, and that's why they keep doing it on one of the fastest growing women's sports in the country.
Phoebe Awolea collects the first point of this second set. We send our best to Penn State head coach Katie Schumacher-Colley as well as she continues her fight. Last pink match here in Columbus, Ohio State recognized former defensive specialist Sarah Sue Morbitzer's mom, Carol, who's dealing with breast cancer. We send our best to her as well. Eloise Brandowie got it off the block, and McKenna Wooker steps into one. Hasbrook flies all over to keep it off the deck. Kalissa Minity makes it 2-0.
And Minity jumped a long way for that one. A great way to go about it.
And for Sarah Sue Morbitzer, she's got a big day as well here after this match. The Ohio State graduate has a book signing for her story, Sarah Scarbuck's Heart Zipper, a story of a heart surgery scar. Emmy Selman's on the board. It's 2-1.
And the book is about Sarah Sue's journey with her heart condition, tetralogy of Fallot, which affects the heart valves. So having those surgeries, that is a true story. And luckily, the scars from the surgery, and Buck, because she grew up a Buckeye and then ended up being a captain on the team. You'll see her around here at the Covelli a lot of the time during the season. And you said a big day for her. She's signing her book from 3 to 5. Barnes & Noble's just right down the street from her.
Yeah, right on Olentangy River Road at Lennoxtown. We're knotted up at 2. Ohio State got hands. And Olivia Hasbrook goes to serve again. Has started every match for OSU at the libero spot as a true freshman. Lydia Grote met off the block. Schaffmaster reloads. Londot unloads. Here's Grote again. Londot bottles it up. Back in system, Grote. Third time, not the charm. Selman, got it.
Sometimes it doesn't take 3, it takes 4. As much as they say 3 is the magic number, sometimes you just got to flip it up and go on its head every now and then. And that was a beautiful rally between the two teams. It was power, reset, out of system, back in system. And that showed both teams looked very confident and calm during that. And that's where you have those, quote, bring the chaos drills that you practice every week.
Emmy Selman with a game high, 7 kills. And Lydia Grote pummels one down to knot this set back up at 2 sets. Her sister Marin played at Washington for Keegan Cook, but it was not necessarily the main reason as to why she followed Cook to Minnesota from Cal. Cook said, and he quotes, that Grote tormented Washington at Cal and made an impact beyond the stat sheet. Palabiak with a diving dig. And McKenna Wooker gives Minnesota a 4-3 advantage.
So I've actually had the opportunity to watch, at that time, Pac-12 women's volleyball. My first addition to it was Arizona State women's volleyball against Utah. I had not gotten to see the torment that he had talked about from Grote because she played at Cal, and I don't believe they'd played Arizona State when I had gone there. But that name was circulated around the Pac-12. You could not go to a women's volleyball match without hearing the name Lydia Grote and going, oh goodness, nobody really wants to mess with the girl out of Berkeley.
Pac-12 all-freshman in 2020-21 at Cal. Second team All-Big Ten and All-North region last year. Gets it over the line. Selman looking for kill number 8, and Minnesota reads the tip. Grote too strong, commits the attack error. And for Ohio State, youth seems to be the theme, but Jen Flynn-Oldenburg said there is a growing confidence with her young bunch.
And that just comes down to the mindset and the leadership and the vocal presence of her team. When you start feeling more comfortable and confident, that allows for plays like that to happen, where you can trust your judgment, trust yourself. I mean, you could see the entire team itself. You talk to Coach Jen Flynn-Oldenburg, and she says Emily Londot, normally one of the more quieter players on the court. And then you can get these new bunches in Selman and Webker, and that it just allows the team to grow and become an energy-filled team. And you start to see some of the upperclassmen going, all right, I think it's time that I'll show a little bit of energy, get along with you, and that's when everything starts rotating well.
By the way, Webker and Wooker, that's a tough pronunciation matchup, but those two have been adding nice contributions. Another look at Julia Hansen's back row kill. Appeared that she got hands there right at the tip from Emily Londot. Riley Rader pancaked by Palabiak. Hasbrook dives, Tuman dishes, Rader finishes.
And that's why you add Rader in a spot like this. You can not only give Brandewie a few rotations off, But you talk about that hitting percentage and her defensive presence that she brings. She's not afraid to do it. Immediately, the first thing she does, points to her teammates. A team player first and foremost.
And has added her vocal presence the last 2 years as well. Awalea to her teammate Minity, too much on the slide. And Minnesota hitting at 179 so far.
They normally hit at a 245 clip during the season. Ohio State at a 198 going into the season, and they're heading at a 421.
The Buckeyes have had a busy last couple of weeks, but they've had 2 attendance records set in that stretch. An ace for Emmy Selman, and her incredible run continues. 7 kills, an ace, and a solo block.
Can't go wrong with home cooking, clearly.
No, sir.
Especially with the crazy schedule that the Buckeyes have been on going all over. Of course, the attendance records definitely helped the confidence, too.
Julia Hansen powers one in. We'll see if Jen Flynn Oldenburg goes to pull out the green card, and she does. Emmy Selman for Ohio State made her debut against USC. The Big Ten is all she knows. Does that play a positive impact?
Thing here, what you're going to have to look for on that far side touch is there a shadow of the ball? If you could see that black shadow on the ball, it could give it to the Buckeyes, and that's exactly what they found.
And so Ohio State retains its challenge, and they go back to work. Jen Flynn Oldenburg has a plus 50% success rate, well above that on challenges. Nice dig by McKenna Wooker. Julia Hansen capitalizes, and the Gophers are within 3.
The biggest thing that now sticks out to me after you said that is Flynn Oldenburg had said, hey, you always talk about teams, a timeout or a challenge can ruin the mojo, can ruin the energy, can ruin the flow of everything. Sometimes that comes to fruition like we just saw, and sometimes it doesn't.
The old coach's point. Lundut cross corner, collects the kill.
I think it's a point that people actually harp on a bit too much. In some other sports like football, when you can have a review and it takes 6 full minutes, of course, completely understandable. But with this, you could still stay stretching, going through your game routines. And when you're playing in the Big Ten, especially with how top-heavy it can be at some points, and with how powerful players like that can be in Hansen, you have to always be ready and think, I don't know what they're going for on their rotation scheme. I don't know what we're going to potentially do defensively. But you have an idea even sitting there going through a review depending on the outcome.
It gives you more time to plan.
Exactly.
Julia Hansen has a Minnesota high 6 kills. Hannah's going to tell you a little bit more about her impact and development. Emily Lundot with a booming blast off the block. 11-7 OSU.
Buckeyes have been attacking at the top way more than we've seen in recent weeks. Sometimes they like to try to weave through the defense depending on who they're playing. And when you're playing a block-heavy team like the Golden Gophers, how do you get ahead of a block like that? You go over them. You just try to jump the line.
Ohio State won the first set 25-16. Look at the score. It's second ranked win this year. Brandewie slides, scores. Eloise Brandewie links up with Tuman for the 3rd time tonight.
Brandewie's 4 of 5 on plays when it comes to her getting kills, and 3 of them have been slide plays. The other 4th was that fake dump down right into the middle of the defense that nobody was expecting. This Ohio State defense is...
Tyler Danberg, Austin Kroom, Hannah Williford with you on Big Ten Plus. Emily Lundot serves with Ohio State up 12-7. Palabiak with a bump pass. Olivia Hasbrook can't dig it. Lydia Grote picks up the kill.
It was only a matter of time before Grote started to find her footing in a match like this, partner. That first set, you could still see she hadn't played in quite a little bit of time. Last time was the 20th at Penn State. So now allowing her to really get comfortable, know the system she's playing against, and even flip sides to have the bench behind her.
Grote has double-digit kills in 7 of her last 8 matches. Reese Webker's strike is wide, just off that far sideline. Ohio State got off to a great start. 1-1. Minnesota closing in, down by 3. But now, down by 4. Emily Londot has a half dozen kills.
That was a beautiful ball. As you could see, her eyes were laser focused right away. Had it up. As soon as she knew she was going to get a good palm on it, started looking at that Big Ten logo in the back corner.
Did Eloise Brandewee's deke out play a factor in that?
I think it had to, and that even allows for the rest of the offense to go, what pieces can we play in this chessboard now? If we know that it's going to be a deke out play, why don't we start trying to rotate to make the rest of the defense get away from the spot you're trying to hit?
That's the 4th service error for Ohio State. Zeynep Palabiak, sophomore from Istanbul, Turkey, serves it away. Brandewe crushes and knocks it down. It's 14-10.
Partner, how are you going to stop this slide? I don't think anything is going to stop it at this point. You might have to wax the floor again the way she's been moving from the center all the way to that far side pin.
Brandewe is now hitting .833, 5 kills on 6 swings. Hasbrook from Eureka, Missouri serves it. Schaffmaster passes. Grote kills it. And kept up the table by Londot. And perhaps a net violation here on Minnesota. Emmy Selman there on the contact. Took a big swing there. She's got 7 kills on 18. Most attacks for either Minnesota or Ohio State. Riley Rader careens on the slide, and that seems to be working, partner.
And Rader is the connector for this entire team. We even heard Coach Keegan Cook say something along the lines that Schaffmaster is the team's, quote, point of stability or fixed point when you go out there, whether it's the defensive side or offensive side. It looks like Rader's been doing that as well. It's something about that middle block position or setter position that Schaffmaster plays.
And London and Rader joust to victory. It's 16-11.
Sometimes power has to be power when you go up at the top. And it just depends who really has a better touch on it. Sometimes the power doesn't matter because if you're just going to keep running head in, nothing is going to move.
Tuman with a soft serve. Nice diving did by Wooker. Londot slides and rifles it home.
Oh, man. She got some pop behind it.
Timeout, Minnesota. Ohio State seeking.
Clarity of it. I wiped my eyes once and then twice and went, oh, my goodness, she's the real deal in the middle.
And then you throw on your glasses for a realization.
Exactly.
Wooker kept it off the floor. Kaylee Engeman pops it over, and the former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket with an error. Ohio State gets the point. But Awalea was named the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago due to her program record performance.
There's a reason she's number 2 in the Big Ten.
14 blocks against Maryland.
My goodness.
Londot rises, hits hands, and Emily Londot has a team high in match high 8 kills.
And this is why the Buckeyes are going high hits and at the pins. You're trying to stay away from Awalea because of how she plays in the middle. Of course, not playing in this system right here, but when she is, you now have to go, all right, we have to do everything in our power to keep the ball away from her.
Schaffmaster tried the swipe. And Minnesota ends a 5-0 Ohio State run. And they've been jumbling their rotations a little bit. Alex Acevedo, redshirt freshman from Nampa, Idaho, is in, as well as Kaylee Engeman, redshirt junior middle blocker from Excelsior, Minnesota. A midair, Riley Rader comes through off the low pass from Mia Tuman.
And here's the difference. Buckeyes have used 7 players in total in their rotations. Minnesota has used 11. And that says something when you can go deep into a roster like that if you're Minnesota. but also for the Buckeyes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It stayed strong on the court. That's why they took set 1 and are leading in set 2.
Soft serve from Selman, and it's her second ace of the match. The freshman continues to emerge in front of the Covelli Center fans' eyes.
Talked about that flower analogy earlier. She is blooming in front of her coaches and the fans' eyes.
Even in fall.
Every now and then.
Schaffmaster beyond the 10-foot line. And Julia Hansen stakes her claim, pinballs it off Selman and Webker for the point.
It doesn't matter what class you're in. When you have something that fast going at you, you can do everything in your power to just hope and pray that it doesn't hit you in the face.
Faster than a speeding bullet, Julia Hansen. Buckeyes seeking to take back-to-back sets. Minnesota not going away. Hansen keeps it in play. Here's Webker. Hansen inbounds. Julia Hansen coming alive.
Leading Minnesota in kills, tied for first in this one with Londot. Both have 8. Londot and Hansen play similar games. They play the outside. They use their power. Not afraid to jump out of the gym either.
The fans are getting the matchup that they paid for. Here's Londot again. Denied. Awalea is there.
Now the Buckeyes will have to make a move defensively. You might want to bring in Brandewee. And I know that they've been using Riley Rader, and she's done so well as of recent. But just try to get a switch up. Fix something. I know you're still within 4, but the way that Minnesota has been growing and leading.
1-16, Ohio State leads number 15 Minnesota. Elise McGee looking to engineer a comeback. Riley Rader skies. Hansen rises and hits.
Going to McGee here, I love this play from Coach Cook. She's the serve specialist of this team, but she can also help her team when it comes to the setter position. You're going to see her a lot back there near the script Buckeye word.
Also 35 assists to go with it. Riley Rader hammers it off the block, and the Buckeyes are one step closer to clinching set 2.
And that's where we're seeing Brandewee come in. We've seen it. But instead of taking out Rader, they're taking out Hasbrook. They want to go a full, tall lineup and have everybody on the floor be able to swing if needed.
Brandewee's been a microwave today. 5 kills on 6 swings. Palabiak to Schaffmaster to Awalea. Emily Londot tips it through.
Just need 2 more. And the way that the Buckeyes are playing, they're all in the same wavelength. It seems like they could say anything and nothing all at the same time, and the same connection would go through.
Riley Rader at the service line. Against Purdue on Wednesday, became the 26th Buckeye in program history to reach 1,000 kills. She makes it set point for the second straight set with an ace. Soft serve. Minnesota eyeing a side out. Brandewee a free ball.
Now you have to go against Schaffmaster who's going. And that's the best move you can make. Go back to Hasbrook. Have your defensive specialist get it, set it up. And Tuman, watch her as well. She's right next to Webker and Brandewee on this near side preparing a swing.
Londot, first set 2. She's got it. Ohio winners in 4 of its last 5, but they're going to need to come all the way back to try and take this one. And the Buckeyes seeking their second-ranked win this year. They're on the right track. Eloise Brandewee with her 6th kill gets us started in set 3.
No need to stop the slide. We talked about it. The first 2 sets, that was a lot of the points that they would be used to break up the chaos. You play over the top for a long time, You want to swing, and then you slide to start set 3. Anything could really come here now, partner.
How important is the Minnesota block in this third set?
I think it's going to have to be the best we've seen so far, and potentially the best we've seen in them since that match against Penn State. Of course, you're going up against the Penn State team, number 3 in the country for a reason. They are tough to beat in all facets of the game. But when you have a block as strong as the Golden Gophers and you haven't been able to use it as much as you'd like in the first 2, you have to find a way to force the Buckeye offense to play into your defensive strengths.
Ohio State was 1 point away in the 5th set from topping number 3 Penn State. Then the Nittany Lions ripped off 3 straight points to win. Phoebe Awalea right in the middle puts the Gophers on the board.
And Awalea has been playing a very similar game to Brandewie as well. It's that middle blocker position. They slide, they use their energy, they communicate. I mean, we've talked it to death at this point, but sometimes sticking to the basics is what you have to do to win matchups like these.
And Minnesota's done that. They have 2 top 10 wins this year. Emmy Selman is denied. Who else but Phoebe Awalea?
And there's the block. As you saw, it was in front of the 10. They start shifting. They realize they're going to set this up for Selman. We're going to try to get as many people at that far side pin as quickly as we can.
Long range, Emmy Selman out of bounds. It's the pink match here in collaboration with the James supporting and spreading cancer awareness. You see a lot of pink and a lot of Riley Rader. We're tied at 3.
Rader has been so active today, and it's great to see because normally she, as like you said earlier, is somewhat shrouded by the rest of the team. You may not see her as often, so when she gets these games where she can be the A or B option, it's got to feel great for her confidence, and the other team may not have as much film on some of the other players.
They ruled that a net violation, but Melanie Chefmaster with the dump.
Now
and she is crafty.
And we're going to find out how deep both of these teams' playbooks are, especially now in this set. If it stays as close as it could potentially be for the first 7 points, you're going to have to go deep.
You certainly will. We saw a little bit of that in set 2. Palabiak scrounges to keep it alive. London. Off of Palabiak. Hansen won't have a beat. Emily London with a match high 11 kills.
And there's a reason that both of these teams are going to go deep into their playbooks. And Coach Keegan Cook said it best. When you're at the turn of the second part of the season, there's not much else you could do. This is basically your last opportunity to switch up your playbook. So whatever you have now, you have to be confident with. So you have to go deep and find every play that, if you're going to use it once, it needs to work. And that could be a play like we just saw from Julia Hansen.
Cook's team certainly knows a lot about turning it into a higher gear. Last year, his Golden Gophers in year 1 were 10-10 entering November. They won 6 of the last 8 regular season matches. Did not host in the tournament, but were able to get to the round of 32. He said this year, because the community, hosting is a big motivation of theirs. But Ohio State having different plans, knotting this third set up at 5.
He also has very different mindsets from some of the other coaches you hear. His biggest thing that he said to us, know the difference between happiness and joy. And he said that, hey, happiness, that's getting through your day-to-days, going to practice, playing these games, seeing friends, doing all the stuff that you enjoy doing. But joy, that's loving what you do. That's being able to go and have a bad game and still want to go on the grind and get better and keep playing for your sisterhood and for your school and for your family. And he said, if I can have, by the end of their 4 years of their collegiate career, if they can know the difference between happiness and joy, then I have done my job as a head coach.
Just a great message from the Pleasanton, California native. He has not abandoned his West Coast habits of Starbucks, though.
Definitely not.
Very regimented coffee order.
You said he could have been a big Caribou coffee guy. The first question you asked him, how much Caribou coffee you had, immediately, no, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm a Starbucks guy. I was up in the Seattle area for a while.
8 years, in fact, with Washington. And there's Kalissa Minity with a tough slide and cross-corner winner. Tumen reloads. Landot off the block. How about the Utica, Ohio native, Emily Landot?
Landot has done that day in and day out, and it seems that season in, season out, that she just goes, she plays the game, she does. She is strong, she's talented, she's also quiet, so sometimes that can get into the head of an opponent is when you have so much power and authority. You could do stuff like that, not really react, to get back and do it again.
Stuffing the stat sheet today, 12 kills, 9 digs, 1 assist, 1 ace, and 3 blocks. She's 1 dig away from her team-high 12th double-double of the year.
My goodness.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Exactly. Anything else we could add on to that coffee order?
And there's Julia Hansen. How about an espresso? And it's 8-7.
And talking about Hansen, biggest thing you could take away. Of course, you can see her stats go up, her communication, her leadership. Coach Cook said one of the greatest victories of this coaching transition is Julia Hansen. And he said to her preseason, this could be your moment. This could be your season. All you have to do is trust the system and trust your process. And we've now seen how much she's been able to jump and accelerate her career in her junior season.
The Minnesota block starting to heat up. 5 blocks for the Golden Gophers, 5 blocks for the Buckeyes. Ohio State won the first set 25-16. Next set 25-18. But Minnesota extends its lead to 3. Back-to-back blocks.
That few-minute adjustment period in between set 3 and set 2 has allowed the Golden Gophers to go on a 3-0 scoring run.
And Elise McGee serves. Tumen with the back set. Schaffmaster under. McKenna Wooker does not attract hands, and it's an attack error. Now Hugh McCutcheon's successor, Keegan Cook, is going to give this a look.
Pointer finger on Brandewee's left hand move unless you get a replay of that.
4 blocks for Awalea, 3 for McKenna Wooker. But 13 kills for Emily Landot. That's a match high.
You know the power is coming, but how do you stop it? I don't think you can at this point, partner. You have to be able to play a very violent rebound if you're a defense.
It's more about limiting rather than stopping. The Utica, Ohio native. Reese Webker to serve, flies over the back line. And Melanie Schaffmaster will go to serve.
And great on Wooker to play that so well. It looked like she might have used her hand to try to punch it, try to get into the head of the Buckeye offense, and then quickly move that back shoulder and let it just go out of bounds of the service error.
Here's Selman. Off the nylon, on the floor.
You knew this one was going to be a close set 3. The adjustments that you can make in such a short turnaround just shows some of the best coaching in the Big Ten.
Is that because of the 5-minute intermission between sets 2 and 3? Does that play a role?
I think it plays a role, but as a head coach, you're going through these sets and you start to realize smaller and smaller things. Maybe you get an inkling of information from your players on the court itself, the way a defense plays, the way an offense has been. And then it lets you do stuff like this, where you can go, you can rally, and as you start set 3, you go, all right, we've noticed this change. We're going to make an adjustment to try to mirror that change. If it works, then you go to your second on your list and your third on a list. As a coach, you start checking boxes and realizing we need to do this better. Let's try it now because it's a 0 clean sheet and has worked so far for Minnesota.
Acevedo serves, former redshirt at Oregon. Emmy Selman is 1 step closer to double figures. That's her 9th kill off the double block.
These timeouts as well are going to be very crucial and imperative for the way a defense plays, even with Selman going right at Grote with the far side pin.
Schaffmaster with a bump set. Webker keeps it off the net. Minnesota looking for its first set win. They're up by 3. Here's a joust. And it's pinballed back up into the air by Hansen over Rader, onto Selman, off of Schaffmaster. Hasbrook with a dig on Hansen. Selman unloads, off of Polabiek, and the Buckeyes win the rally.
That was a rally this third set, partner. And just on the way it was played. Both played with poise, both played with grace. And you played it as best as you could, even with Polabiek getting down to it and trying to knuckle it back up. It just bounced off her incorrectly, but that was the perfect play for them. It just so happened that the Buckeyes' strength was able to overpower the defense of the Gophers.
The top-ranked outside hitter coming out of high school with 10 kills. That's Emmy Selman. Rader with the tip. Here's Grote. Powers it right to Tumen. Lundot hits the block. And the Buckeyes are down by 1.
Partner, you might want to take a time here and a timeout if you're Coach Cook if this gets tied at 13. Because then you could see Buckeyes back on a 3-0 scoring run. He may want to use a challenge, if not timeout in general. Well, now see what's going on. It looked, a clear stoppage of play, but unsure what is Coach Jen Flynn-Oldenburg is having a conversation with the pin judge.
Well, if you look at Zeynep Polabiek, the Minnesota libero, she's going back behind the service line, indicating that it might be a service. So are they looking, maybe did that pinball right back on the swing?
I believe so. Right now there's not been a change in the points. It's still 13-12 Minnesota. But they are having a conversation. They've now switched it 14-12, so they are going to go back. And Jen Flynn-Oldenburg is not going to challenge it.
So it's a point for Minnesota. Polabiek with a soft serve. Emily Lundot makes Minnesota pay.
Take the point away, it comes right back. That's what Lundot is used for in situations like that. As much as it doesn't harm you, it just goes, okay, it's not the spot we want to be in, but we can go to somebody who we can trust with everything on this offense.
Lundot, like we said, a dig shy of a double-double. Actually passed her head coach Jen Flynn-Oldenburg on the all-time program digs list.
Wonder how she feels about all that.
Lundot just pawed it off the bottom of the net. Probably Jen Flynn-Oldenburg is happy.
You would assume, yeah. You are having the opportunity and the ability to coach, and that's what Coach Cook had said. Hansen, she has gotten out of her shell, and she's felt so much more comfortable this year stepping into a bigger role.
Lydia Grote serves it away. Reese Webker moves to the outside. Julia Hansen is stuffed, but it's out of bounds. So there's Julia Hansen for her 13th kill. That is now 10-plus kills in 15 matches this campaign. Minnesota trying to get back to the NCAA tournament, looking to try and get a host for their community in Minneapolis. Webker is rejected. Melanie Schaffmaster and Kalissa Minity set it back.
Blocks are coming back by way of the Golden Gopher defense. And you can even check the stat sheet now. They're leading the Bucks in the block percentage by 4, 9-5.
And that hitting percentage has crept up to over 200 for the first time since the first couple of swings. Polabiek with a diving save. Lundot couldn't capitalize on the overpass. Tumen finds a sliding Lundot, sails it. It's 18-12.
Your way, we just saw the Golden Gophers do it a couple minutes ago. Can it now flip for the Buckeye side?
See if they can spark a comeback. Or does Minnesota have more of an answer? Julia Hansen a little bit too much on that. And it's 17-14 Golden Gophers.
The beauty of this set for Ohio State is it now allows them to play into whatever Minnesota's doing. Your game plan is mirror whatever your opponent does.
Not much spin on the serve from Rader, a knuckler. And the Buckeyes win the point.
And that's what you saw in the defense from Ohio State. their block started more towards the middle and realized that all the offense was shifting towards that right side. And that's what all you have to do. You just kind of wave along with the offense and just be ready for their attack.
Minnesota is siding out at 52% partner, and they are looking for a big one here. Thibault backed up on it. Hansen slams it and scores it.
That percentage could go up just a tick now after the energy there from Hansen. Also is a big run stopper if you're Ohio State, because you have to go defensive heavy and use Hasbrook. Raider comes out.
Julia Hansen, 14 kills, 31 total swings. Londot also on 31 swings. Her 32nd is denied. Reese Webker got the kill, got the block.
We haven't seen as many defensive changes for Ohio State or for the Golden Gophers out of Minnesota when it gets into the 20-plus range. We could see that here, knowing what could happen if Ohio State comes back and gets the victory.
That victory could end a 4-match losing streak. Here's Selman. Inbounds. 11 kills for the first year.
You can hype her up with
Is Grace Drager. Anera School is on graphics, as well as Amanda Willis. We're glad that you've been able to hang out with us on this Sunday afternoon. Here's McKenna Wooker. A high bouncing block from Brandewie is wide. And McKenna Wooker playing with maybe a little bit of an extra cause tonight on this pink match. Picks up the kill. What a story for McKenna Wooker. Her mom, Wendy, passed away due to breast cancer at age 3. Her dad, Greg, took care of the sisters. Those 3 sisters, McKenna Wooker, Miranda Wooker, Abby, is seeking to go to 2-8. We'll see who comes away with it here. Austin, it's going to be a fun one the rest of the way.
And that was expected, especially with the firepower these two teams are playing with.
And Emily Londot fits the billing. She blazes it by to cut the lead down to 2.
And she's been doing that for her entire career. And you saw another fake out for Brandewie, jumping in front, tucking her shoulders down, and allowing a pure swing over for Londot's 16th kill of the day.
Lauren Murphy comes in to serve, the sophomore from Round Rock, Texas. No aces, 4 errors, serving specialist. Last year, though, second in the Big Ten with 40 aces due to that patented spin she puts on the ball. Right to the middle, Hansen. And it's 21-18.
You can see the change already going in for the Golden Gophers. Thibault goes out, Grote comes in, and just jumping out of the gym for Hansen beyond the 10-foot line.
Just like off the vault for the former gymnast.
There you go, you got that one in there.
Check.
You had to check that box too.
Chefmaster serves it. Give and go. Hasbrook to Tuman to Selman. Rolls right off the tape. Selman, third time, the charge.
And these points mean a lot more for Ohio State. Not saying that, of course, if you can win by 3, yeah, that's great. Minnesota now realizing they've had the physicality advantage in this third set. If you let the Buckeyes win, of course it's over, but if you're Ohio State, you now realize we have to be as physical, if not more, than the opponent.
9 blocks for Minnesota, 6 for Ohio State. A lot of physicality in this matchup. Hansen dives, Schaffmaster punches, back bump, over for Grote. And Lydia Grote with a roll shot. In tight along the back line.
Save that play you said with that back bump. Gets over everyone else on the ground, then resets, stays on the left side, slides over the middle, cross the body right past the uppercutting hand of Olivia Hasbrook.
The Lydia Grote play. McKenna Wooker's serve off the bottom of the net.
You can patent that good defensive sneak and slide over to the middle, over to the far side pin, just for this game in general. Doesn't have to go to a team, doesn't even have to go to the Big Ten Conference. But if you've watched this game, There have been so many slide kills and slide attempts that have gone for overall completions.
Ohio State has 2 sweeps this year. Minnesota's been swept just once. Looking to take set 3, but Emmy Selman might have different plans. What a day it's been for the Burtonsville, Maryland native. Timeout, Minnesota. 2022. Austin, how do they do it?
You got to play with confidence, and you have to play with tenacity.
Out of bounds, off the block, and Minnesota is up 23-21.
You also got to add in a hint of intelligence as well. Knowing that a spot like this, you are backs against the wall. You don't want to go another set if you don't have to. But you make your action by a reaction.
And Polabiek with an ace. And here come the Golden Gophers. And a timeout by Jen Flynn Oldenburg at Ohio State.
Talked about making those actions from reactions. It was a quick ball to Selman. The only thing she could do was just try to get her hands there if you're seeing somebody try to jump and make a kill past the 10-foot line.
Polabiek, the serve. Tuman, the dish. Landot, the tip. Inbounds.
Remember, it is win by 2 here. Get 2 more just to make it close in a beautiful touch over from Landot. That was a close one.
The first set, Ohio State won by 9. Second set, they won by 7. This one's going to come down to the final points. Still set point for the Golden Gophers. Landot, too tall, and Minnesota takes set 3, but Jen Flynn Oldenburg is going to challenge.
On the place.
And that's a unique perspective, partner. You hit the nail on the head. This change in the Big Ten has provided some more critical thinking among some of the leaders in these sports, especially at the Olympic level. So here we go for the 4th set. Reese Webker to get things started. It's 1-0 Ohio State.
And now Ohio State's in a similar situation to the University of Minnesota, how they were in the 3rd set. Is you go out and you just have to be prepared to make those on-the-fly adjustments, because if it went for the other side and it was that close, if you do it, you might get the inverse.
Emmy Selman on the serve, second on Ohio State with 13 kills. Phoebe Awalea has a clean kill to her name.
You want to stay
4th of the game as well.
warm when you're feeling chilled, but you don't want to raise your heating bill. What you need is Handy Heater Turbo Heat, the new whole room space heater that plugs into the wall and takes up no space at all. So powerful it heats up any room up to 250 square feet, yet runs for just pennies a day. Handy Heater is whisper quiet, and the adjustable thermostat lets you control the temperature, keeping any room warm and cozy. Get the full line of Handy Heater products online at Amazon.
Just look at the Atlanta area.
You want to stay.
The athletes, you have Marietta and Alpharetta, Georgia, are hotbeds for athletes in the Big Ten. I don't know what it is about that area, but they can find some freak athletes who go out and you just have your mouth open watching them play day in and day out.
I believe Buford's one of the big
warm when you're feeling
there.
chilled, but you don't want to raise your heating bill. What you need is Handy Heater Turbo Heat, the new whole room space heater that plugs into the wall and takes up no space at all. So powerful it heats.
But also teams like these are built on homegrown players. As you look at most of this Minnesota roster, a majority of them are from the Minnesota, Indiana, Wisconsin area. And same thing with the Ohio
State. Any
room
room up to 250 square feet, yet runs for just pennies a day. Handy Heater is whisper quiet, and the adjustable thermostat lets you control the temperature, keeping any room warm and cozy. Get the full line of Handy Heater products online at Amazon.
I see what you're going with.
You see the vision?
We're picking up what you're putting down.
Every now and then it happens.
It's 4-1 Ohio State. The last time, as we said before, the Buckeyes have knocked off a top 15 opponent was on November 4th, 2022 against then number 4 Nebraska. Not a part of that Big Ten until the turn of the 2010s. Which that's also a crazy thing to think about how far
you want to stay.
Don't say that. Some of the people at home are going to be going to be pretty annoyed that you said 2010 was 15 years ago. Oh, now I just said it.
We were 7 and 8 then.
Don't say that either.
Here's Landa. Palabiak with the dig. Grote got
Warm
hands.
when you're feeling
Doesn't
chilled,
matter.
but
it's
you
inbounds, and she tiptoes the
don't
back
want
line
to raise your heating
for another
bill.
kill.
What you need is Handy Heater Turbo Heat, the new whole room space heater that plugs into the wall and takes up no space at all. So powerful it heats up any room up to 250 square feet, yet runs for just pennies a day. Handy Heater is whisper quiet, and the adjustable thermostat lets you control the temperature, keeping any room warm and cozy. Get the full line of Handy Heater products online at Amazon.
So they want to host every year, especially for the community. Two great volleyball communities, Minneapolis and Columbus, on college campuses.
It's just the Big Ten itself. As you look at all the teams just in this northern part of the Midwest, they love themselves college volleyball.
Lined up from long range.
El papá que sabe, sabe. De lo suavecito de Enfamil NeuroPro Gentle Ease. Pancita feliz, familia feliz.
Webker goes. Sends back for Selman. Hanson attracts the block and collects the kill.
Great back and forth between the two. And that's just showing that both
you
teams
want to
are
stay
on their game plans right now. They've made those adjustments. A lot of the time we talked about, your action is based off of a reaction, but when you
warm when you're
sets,
feeling chilled, but you don't want to raise your heating bill. What you need is Handy Heater Turbo Heat, the new whole room space heater that plugs into the wall and takes up no space at all. So powerful it heats up any room up to 250 square feet, yet runs for just pennies a day. Handy Heater is whisper quiet, and the adjustable thermostat lets you control the temperature, keeping any room warm and cozy. Get the full line of Handy Heater products online at Amazon.
The defense knows
nature gives us what we need to protect ourselves.
And you can throw two of your best blockers over at the far side, and that's exactly what they've done with Shaftmaster and Ualea. And it just goes right in between the net and the jersey.
And there's Julia Hanson with an answer.
It's only a matter of time before she had done that again. That's 17 kills, 6 digs along with it.
And Lydia Grote goes to serve. Again, missed the sweep of Northwestern on Wednesday. Salmon steps into it. Minnesota coming off a set 3 victory. Looking to cut within 1. Hanson rips it in.
Had 14 double-figure kill games so far this season. This now being 15. She is inching closer and closer to a 20-plus kill match.
She's 10th in the Big Ten in kills per set. Grote's serve is too low. 6 service errors for Ohio State, 3 for Minnesota, but it's been a relatively clean match from the service line. 7 aces, though, for Ohio State compared to 3 in Minnesota.
I think that just comes down to game plan and confidence. So you feel comfortable with what you've been doing, and once you get 1 turns to 2, 3 to 5, and so on and so forth.
119 aces as a team for Ohio State. Olivia Hasbrook has 18 of those. There she digs it. Tuman with a back set. Landa from distance. Knocked down. There's Julia Hanson and Calissa Minity.
Hanson not necessarily known for blocking capabilities at 37 coming into the game, but just angling up Londot and chucking the hands up, right place, right time.
So Hanson with 18 kills, 6 digs, 2 blocks. Selman flies, and Palabiak punches it out of midair. You can see that international experience playing for the Turkish national team seething through. Mia Tuman knocks it with the left hand. Wooker got it. We're tied up at 7.
This is so back and forth. One team bites, the other one bites back. And that's just how these games are going to end, especially at this turning point to the second half of the Big Ten slate.
This cinematic matchup. The 89th running of Minnesota and Ohio State. And the Buckeyes win the point. They're back in front.
Gotta make sure Thibault's okay. Ran through a couple of chairs down there. She put her hands up. Looks like she's all good to go, though. And that's how sometimes you realize how condensed some of these arenas really are. They're barns. You're playing in places where the sound reverberates off the walls. You got 3,000 people yelling at you. It's a different experience from the pavilion that they play in.
Jim Flynn Oldenburg said, we have an advantage when Ohio State plays at the Covelli Center. And there's Calissa Menete again. Point blank range.
Do you think that's why sometimes in the non-conference schedule, you'll get teams in the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC, that'll go to the Minnesotas, the Nebraskas, the Wisconsins, and Ohio States of the country and be outmatched just based on the energy?
Maybe a postseason simulation. Emily Lundot, no stranger to the postseason herself, hits the solo block and scores.
You could see the energy that she's playing with. She keeps her battery charged always. Doesn't even look like she gave that much of an attempt. It's just a pure motion that she has going with her swing.
Selman to serve, nearing 15 kills. Olivia Hasbrook dug it with her left hand, but was not able to. And that's McKenna Wooker on the kill.
You could see she just tried to punch it away, that being Hasbrook. But it just came off an awkward part of her arm. But it was a difficult ball to go for. Her full body force was going to the other side of the court.
Out of system for Selman. Shotmaster drops it off to Wooker. She used Awalea as a decoy and takes advantage.
Those back corners, as of recent, you're playing the lines way more than you're playing the midsection of the painted court itself.
Off-ball movement's the key. We're deadlocked at 10 now in the fourth set. The Buckeyes won the first two frames. Minnesota won the third, the tightest set so far.
And sometimes that's what it comes down to, is just skill against skill, as you see it all over the Big Ten in every sport. Every game seems to be close, regardless of who's playing.
Goes to show you the depth of the Big Ten. Awalea off the block, on the floor. 11-10 Minnesota, and Phoebe Awalea starting to ignite.
Remember, if they get to the fifth, it's 15 win by 2. This one's still, of course, 25 win by 2. And the way that Ohio State has stayed strong with their 6 on the court shows something. They trust the system that they're running, especially Jen Flynn Oldenburg.
Julia Hansen reached over the scores table to pry it free. Lundot tries it again. Awalea right on the hardwood. The set of Phoebe Awalea continues.
She's been dominant in the past 2 sets. And whether that's just waking up, getting used to it, of course they have the travel days, or maybe it's just getting comfortable again with the system you're playing.
After some miscommunication, Olivia Hasbrook steps into one. Hansen drills it, and she's got it to go. It's a 3-point advantage for the Golden Gophers.
It's only a matter of time before Ohio State wants to step away, and that's exactly what they're going to do now with the timeout.
On the sidelines, it's Hannah Williford. And to start, it's an ace for Alex Acevedo.
Talking about those timeout lead changes, energy changes. What do you do now if you're Ohio State down 4? If it gets any further, it could get difficult to come back.
Webker sides out.
She hit a beautiful screwball just inside. And you can see it right there. Super close to that far side line.
What might get swept under the rug, the setting performance. Mia Tooman, the sophomore for Ohio State, is up to 45. Melanie Schaffmaster under the ball here has 41, and she's got 42 as there's another kill for the Golden Gophers.
Her career high is 57. She had that in 2023. We talked about her with 8+ matches of 40 assists on the season. It's now 9.
You had a feeling that this was going to be a really good battle in the middle between Schaffmaster and Tumen. Brandewee got it. Off the double block.
It looked like for a second, Tyler, that the defensive side for Minnesota had finally found a way to stop that slide from Brandewee, and still it went off of them.
That was a connection that in the last half of last year, Mia Tumen and Eloise Brandewee really honed in on in practice, and they said it wasn't always pretty at times, but a lot of work went into it to make it to what it is now, and today it has been pristine. But off the Webker service error, Lydia Grote goes back to work. Selman denied. Do not go in there on Melanie Schaffmaster. And it's 17-12.
The 11th block of this one. And going out of set two, Tyler, they had only 2. 9 of them just in the past set and a half for the Golden Gophers.
11 blocks for the Golden Gophers. And an ace. There goes Minnesota. That's their 5th ace of the match.
There might become a time here where Ohio State and Jennifer Oldenburg wants to use that second timeout. It would not be a burn situation because you're down by 6. You don't want to go 5 if you don't have to.
1 timeout left for OSU. 2 for Minnesota. Here's Hansen. Down the line, wide.
That line has had some close plays today. Whether it's been early on, crucial situations, maybe even just getting your team a point or 2 here and there, but especially now, regardless of the score itself, every point is crucial.
Buckeyes 8-11, Minnesota 13-6. Hansen down. That is 21 kills for the Savage Minnesota native.
Right off the foot of Selman. Sometimes you see with these power swingers that they may not have the best when it comes to accuracy because of the power struggle. You don't see that with Hansen. She's got a mixture of both. She can swing it as hard as anybody can, like you see there, and she can plant it wherever she wants.
And for multiple spots on the floor, like you just saw. Minnesota now has 10 of the last 14 points. Timeout, Ohio State. The Golden Gophers on the rise.
The team's overall total. No, that is just her and her time grinding in the NCAA.
And Eris Gould and Amanda Willis cooking up another. Emmy Selman's magical campaign and day on the hardwood continues. That is now 15 kills.
Right past that reach of Hansen. We talk about her being able to switch different positions when it comes to the team itself. Sometimes you're caught in the middle of either being the offense or defense, and you can't make a surefire decision.
Right to the middle, and Tumen there. Kate Thibault back into the match. Wooker's strike is too tall. Out of bounds, and Ohio State has a quick back-to-back stretch. Minnesota, not only could this be a huge comeback win, but just a win. Keegan Cook, their head coach, said there's a big difference between 7-3 and 6-4 in the Big Ten. And if they can force set 5, it'll be another cinematic finish here at the Covelli Center.
It's also one of those statement wins for a program like Minnesota. It shows, hey, we are top 15, and we could be down in a hostile environment and still come back and prove ourselves.
Riley Rader and Mia Tumen link up. That's the 48th assist for Tumen. That's the 8th kill for Rader.
She had 55 assists against Penn State this season. Her career high is 56 assists for Tumen. That was against Indiana on November 4th of 2023. So she's slowly inching her way closer and closer.
Tumen has 7 matches with 50-plus assists. but it's Minnesota who sides out.
As Ohio State, do you go more defensive heavy at this point? You're only 2 away from going to a 5th set.
It's a good question away. It's an 8-point advantage. Here's Londa. A cannon. And Ohio State trails by 7.
Actually, it looks like the Buckeyes are going to go with that tall defensive line. You take out Hasbrook, bring in Brandewie.
Went to high hands there. Key objective achieved, but Riley Rader gives it back. That's a service error, and it's set point for the Golden Gophers.
And now Hasbrook comes back in. If Rader was able to get that serve off cleanly, they would keep with the same motion because they don't have to worry about the recovery of the serve itself. Now you're Ohio State, your backs are against the wall, having Hasbrook out there and not the extra attacker.
Acevedo serves with 16 aces, won't get 17. Londot to side out. No, and Minnesota has forced a 5th and final set. 15 points. Well, the most assists among active D1 setters. Serves it away. Ohio State 0-2 in 5-set matches. Minnesota 3-4. Emmy Selman, a key fixture of this match. Can't put it away. She's going to give it another go. Off the changeup. Grote saves it. Palabiak reinserts it over. Selman. Palabiak right there. Here's Wooker. And Webker with a magical dig. This is electrifying. This is Wooker. And Webker right there. Schumann's tap is denied, but she pushes it over and in. Oh, what a rally.
Welcome to set 5. That's the way. Zoom in on the replay. Incredible job from all the people in the production room.
Great job there by wireless camera operator Rachel Villalobos, also people on cameras 2 and 3. And how about these Buckeyes? Riley Rader, 2-0.
How you doing? Answer it quick. It starts one long. You get the overturn to not work in the favor of Minnesota, and then you go quick with a pat down right over the middle.
Minnesota has scrapped and clawed their way back into this. How much does a side out here mean?
It means potentially everything, especially when you switch at 7 or 8 points.
First to 15 is the winner, and Ohio State's up 3-0. Wooker missed wide.
Coach Cook has green card in his hand and sets it back down. He considered going for his second challenge, but he did not go for it. Must have seen something that everybody else on the floor saw as well.
Olivia Hasbrook to serve. Palabiak with a diving save. Here's Grote, off Londot, and Minnesota's on the board.
Sometimes all it takes is one, and it's that power swing that you get from Grote. And you could see set 1, still finding her footing. Set 2, a little bit more comfortable with the energy of Cavelli. Comes out of 3, coming into her own. 4 and 5, this is where you're going to see these big-time plays from the upperclassmen.
Acevedo serves it. Emmy Selman delivers.
One thing I've noticed here as well, Jen Flynn Oldenburg, normally very calm and collected. She's showing a lot of energy right now. She's pumping her arms up and down, walking close to the team and going, hey, it's okay in these spots to show energy. As you see her there in the back, pump her fists up.
Here's Mia Tuma to serve. 51 assists, 8th 50-plus assist match in her 2-year career. But her opposite delivers with a little deception. Cheeky play there.
Jen Flynn Oldenburg immediately walks up with 2 fingers. She said there was a double hit. I think she might have been talking about in between the left and right hand on the potential setup for the Golden Gophers.
What a job by Melanie Schaffmaster there. Cut the lead down to 2. Londot goes for it all, and Wooker right there to greet her. Julia Hansen has anchored Minnesota all day. Palabiak goes back to her. Reese Webker in the back row with it in. All the way to Londot. And Wooker stands tall. Palabiak returns it. And Wooker retrieves it. And after a long, valiant fight, Emily Londot capitalizes.
And as soon as it's over and on the positive side, you are ferocious with the energy.
These teams are giving everything they've got. Shackmaster finds Grote. Set back by Webker and Rader. This time it's over Webker and Rader, and Webker rises. Tubin looking for assist 52. Londot sends it airborne towards the athletic band, and the Gophers get the point.
Watch out, everybody over there with a tuba. I mean, that went halfway up the gym. And that just shows the true power that Emily Londot can bring in a swing.
Are you seeing an 11th gear?
Could be.
Londot?
Could be. Not everybody has one.
But if there's somebody that might, it's the person who's second in the Big Ten in kills per set, top 15 in the country as well. Ohio State with 17 more swings than Minnesota, but the Gophers have double the blocks. Off the slide, Selman has a major dig. Hansen off hands, but Selman pops it into the air. Londot with an attacking error, and the Golden Gophers inch closer.
This one's so back and forth. And you can just see the teams, it's back to that reaction style of play. Is that if you see the line start to shift one way, your defense goes the other. And same thing with the offense. If they're playing further back and you see another setup in the air, get ready for power.
It's a chess match to decide who can be the first to 15. Olivia Hasbrook ranges over. Londot with a tip, and Palabiak all over it. Here's Shapmaster, a dump, Hasbrook a touch, Selman with a back bump, and Hasbrook sends it over. Off the slide, it's Minity, threads the needle.
Remember, 15 win by 2. When you get halfway to that 15 set, the teams will switch sides of the floor. The side that the Golden Gophers are on right now has their fans behind them. Something to think about when it gets to that half-point switch.
Trying to gauge the environment. Londot hits the antenna, and Minnesota has tied it.
And you could just hear the audible sounds on the right side of us is where the Golden Gopher fans are behind their traditional starting bench. It's louder, and then it's very silent on the other side where the Buckeye fans are.
Minnesota has 3 wins in 5 sets, one of them against then number 1 Texas. Minnesota takes the lead. Minity taking the game over.
And if you're Ohio State, you see it's that back miscue from Tubin. She doesn't do that too often. That just shows that the aggression from the offense is really stepping it up at this point, especially now up by 1.
That aggression has resulted in a 5-0 run as it's an ace. Julia Hansen sends her team to switch sides with an 5-0 scoring run in Austin. They have loaded up and capitalized, and Julia Hansen a big reason why. Free ball, got it! It's McKenna Wooker.
Can't say it was Hansen all by herself after that one. Wooker has been on a burner as well. Her numbers may not show it as much. She's just getting closer and closer to that double figure in kill marks, now sitting at 9.
Webker, the outside, off the block and down. The freshman with a big-time swing.
Just look at the defense. They're playing it perfectly. You have the 2 blockers up at the front. one on the extra carom to the side, 3 back. And that's all you can do in a spot like that. You're playing an outside zone, and that's what you expect with an Ohio State team who has been going over the top consistently in this match.
The Buckeyes have now played 2 5-set matches in the last week. McKenna Wooker with the kill. Ohio State led 14-13 against number 3 Penn State last week before the Nittany Lions scored 3 straight points. They have been knocking on the door all year of a couple of ranked teams, lost 5 sets to then number 20 USC on September 27th. Could this be the win that gives them the momentum and confidence? There's a pancake, and there's a save. Thibault climbs through, but it's Tumen who terminates.
To answer your question, it sure could be, just on the way that they're playing. You can see it. They're down. Doesn't seem like it. They're playing with their same system and their same fire, especially with Tumen. The game that she's had 52 assists, 7 digs, now 3 kills. She's been prone to use that fake out time and time again.
Caitlin Hoffman, her first set tonight, and it's a serve. She's been used as a specialist, sophomore from Novi, Michigan. Emmy Selman, denied, but lined up backs her up. Selman again, no, and down, a block, and it's Awalea.
And they just need 4 more. Ohio State most likely forced to use a timeout here. I believe that's exactly.
Minnesota leads Ohio State 11-8 alongside Hannah Williford and Austin Kroom. I'm Tyler Danberg. Well, Austin, Melanie Schatzmaster is going to go to serve, 4 points away from completing a 3 straight set victory and a 5-set marathon winner. How does Ohio State try to come back down 3?
And exactly what they're doing right now, playing 2 up at the front of the line and dropping 4 in their defensive set.
They've pinched Julia Hansen back in her rotation in the back row. And it's Wooker on the kill. She has started to really come alive. That is 11 kills now, right behind Julia Hansen's 21.
It has been a 2-headed monster for both teams. Hansen and Wooker from Minnesota, and Londot and Selman for Ohio State.
Minnesota has gradually improved its efficiency up to .255 of a hitting percentage. And it's 14th block of the match. They're 2 points away from overcoming a once 2-0 deficit. And Jen Flynn Oldenburg and Ohio State call time. Golden Gophers and Melanie Schatzmaster looking to take advantage.
Defense has to be locked in here.
Clean reception from Selman. Tumen off the breakaway. Out of bounds. Match point Minnesota.
If you're Minnesota, you go with the same thing. Schatzmaster has been the service specialist in this one, and then to go along with her 48 assists and 8 digs.
Schatzmaster to serve.
We've been talking about this side-out percentage for a lot of today. Ohio State has led in side-out percentage up until this set. Minnesota's now at a 61.5% success rate. Ohio State at 60.6.
It's match point Minnesota, but Ohio State's not done. Rader and Selman conjoin.
Sometimes the stats don't tell you everything, especially when Ohio State led with the block early on, and they were down by 8. And it was 14-6 in the block differential, and then you add on that one.
Grote looks for the match win. Caitlin Hoffman says no. Grote tries it again. And Minnesota, once down, 2-0, win 3 straight sets and win.